Welcome back to another episode of the Tan and the J-Man Show. I'm the J-Man. Sitting next to me in a different state is the Tan Man. 376th episode of the Tan and J-Man Show, to be exact. How you doing tonight there, Tan Man?
Doing pretty good, J-Man. 40 days till spring.
Yeah, I saw that this week is the first week since November that we will have sunsets after 5 o'clock Central Time. So,
when's the last time you've seen the sun?
Today.
Oh, really? Today? I feel like it's been months.
I would say today, when it was stupid cold, like 40 below wind chill, it was all sunny, which is ironic. But it'd probably been a good few weeks since we've seen the sun here, but it started peeking through the clouds a little bit. Wasn't too bad.
It just gets depressing with the cold weather when the sun's not out. So.
I remember reading last year that there was a stretch Chicago did not see one ray of sunshine in like 52 straight days or something like that.
That's ridiculous.
It's really depressing.
That's ridiculous. But something that's not depressing. I brought some Birdie or Bogey trivia.
Oh, that'll be depressing here in about an hour.
I don't know. You got a 1-stroke lead on me, so yeah. I don't know. You might make it 2. I got a feeling you're gonna get this one right tonight.
Oh, okay.
Kiss of death.
Okay. Yeah.
Kiss of death. Tom Brady is a pretty good quarterback.
Not too bad.
He's one of 2 quarterbacks who have completed over 100 passes in Super Bowl history. Who is the other quarterback to do that?
Completed 100 passes.
Completed over 100 passes.
One of 2. So obviously a guy that's been in the league a long time.
And I'll even let you know, Brady in Super Bowl history completed 277.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Not too shabby. A good question there, Tan Man. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House has upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. Every Monday night, $2 whole smoked wings and $1 off domestic brewskis at the Arlington Public House. They are also telling us that their simulators are open: golf, basketball, baseball, zombie dodgeball, hockey, soccer, carnival games, and football. So contact them at 574-223-7101.
Yeah, we need to, next time we're both in Rochester, we need to get over there and play some games on Caddyshack, which is what they call their simulators there. So
I like it.
I'll be ready to throw my arm out because I haven't thrown anything quite a while. So
I'm trying to think the last time I threw a football.
I throw a mini football with my dog often outside, but like a regulation size football, it's been a while.
It's probably when we were doing some of those preview videos we used to do. That might be the last time I threw a football. It's pretty bad.
Probably was. And you can find those on the Tan and J-Man Show YouTube channel. There is bloopers on there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bloopers and preview videos. When did we shoot those, man? It was probably a combination of, some of them were shot in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
I think 2018 maybe, about that 3-year stretch there.
Yeah, that was that's what we used to do on Friday nights before we met our wives.
Yep.
Thank goodness for our wives.
Thank goodness for our wives. So I'll still never forget when you jammed your thumb with the basketball pass.
Yeah, that was early. I remember that was 2017, like April 2017.
That was classic.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But NFL, man, we are down to 2 teams.
It's crazy.
We are down to 2 teams. We know the Super Bowl matchup. It's the Kansas City Chiefs yet again against the San Francisco 49ers yet again, because we saw this Super Bowl back in 2020.
Yeah.
Shortly before the pandemic hit. Teams look different now. Patrick Mahomes is still Kansas City's quarterback, but San Francisco's quarterback at the time was Jimmy Garoppolo. Now is Brock Purdy. Same coaches, same everything else. Different location, of course. That Super Bowl was
Miami.
Thank you. And this one's in Vegas for the first time ever, which is going to be pretty crazy. What'd you think of the AFC and NFC Championship games?
If you're not beating this Chiefs team, when are you going to beat this Chiefs team?
That's a great way to put it.
This is a Chiefs team. Obviously there was the whole narrative. Well, Mahomes has never won on the road in the postseason. Well, he never played on the road either, and now he's 2-0 on the road. Winning in Buffalo and in Baltimore, 2 of the toughest places to play in the NFL. So he is cementing his legacy even further as one of the greatest to ever sling it. He's never had a defense like this, though, ever. They're one of the best units in the NFL. I mean, you look at the Chiefs' offense yesterday, looked pretty good in the first half. In the second half, 5 punts and a kneel. That was it.
Nothing.
Didn't score a single point, and they were helped out by some costly Baltimore Raven turnovers, including the worst one, Zay Flowers diving into the end zone, fumbles at the 1 yard line, Chiefs pick it up in the end zone. And then Lamar forcing it into triple coverage.
Yeah.
I think on a first down, too, he forced that in there on triple coverage. Woefully underthrown ball. So there should be this narrative around Lamar Jackson is that he cannot win the big game. I mean, it's been happening here his entire career, and there isn't that stigma around him yet for whatever reason. But there absolutely should be. Because that's a Chiefs team you should beat at home, honestly. And but once again, Patty Mahomes and the Taylor Swifties find a way to get it done, and now they are in the Super Bowl for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons, and I'm gonna have a real hard time picking against them.
Yeah, it's whenever you have number 15 behind center there, you're gonna have a great chance to win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's the greatest of all time yet. In my opinion, that's Tom Brady. But he's well on his way. I think he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen play the position. And he's starting to do what the great ones do and make the kind of so-called no-name guys better around him. The Chiefs, like you mentioned it perfectly, this was the year to get them. Even for the division, if the Broncos or Raiders, because the Broncos and Raiders both beat them once. If they could have just won a few more games, they could have got the division, but they didn't. Because I feel like they're going to reload and retool in the offseason, and they're going to have more firepower. I think America, of course, a good section of America loves them for maybe non-football reasons, but I think most of America's tired of them. And welcome to the bandwagon. I've been there long before a lot of y'all. So even going back to the Alex Smith days when the Chiefs weren't even near this good.
Yeah.
But when can we start getting in the conversation about Andy Reid being a top 5, maybe even top 3 NFL head coach of all time?
You look 4 years ago, even you're like, Andy can't win the big game. He's got to win the big game eventually. Now he wins this one. They'll have 3 Super Bowl wins in 5 years, 4 years. Going back to, they used to be like, a lot of people love Patrick Mahomes, thought this is awesome. We get new blood in there. We see Brady all these years, and even Peyton Manning all these years, Ben Roethlisberger. We finally get some new blood in here. Chiefs haven't won a Super Bowl in how long? Then they win one. It's ever, and it's
not ever. It was Super Bowl, 1, 2, one of the other ones.
They were there. It's one of those. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and they have seen themselves become the villain here in the NFL. And I think Detroit was definitely America's darling coming into yesterday. They wanted some new blood in there, and now we get a rematch. And 49ers team that obviously they've been there 3 times now in the past decade, and they haven't won it, but they have been there. And it'll be interesting. I think the ratings will be really, really good because of the Taylor Swift effect. Take Taylor Swift out of it, I wonder if the ratings would be at the lowest it's been in a while, just because it's a rematch. But Chiefs found a way to get it done with defense again. And then yesterday, man, the Lions get up 17. I'm thinking the Lions are going to Super Bowl.
Yeah, they look so good in the first half.
I'm going to live long enough to see the Lions in a Super Bowl.
Well, no offense, Josh, was going through my head. I'm like, the Lions are going to make a Super Bowl during Josh's lifetime before the Dolphins.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'm like, the Dolphins have had better teams over the years.
Not
the Lions
really.
have one. It feels like 1 year they have a good team, and they're going to do it. And
yeah, I mean, the Lions have already been in more championship games than the Dolphins have since I've been in. I think Dolphins were in 1, but I was 1 year old, 2 years old.
Yeah.
But
shows it can be done, though.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, but now I don't know if they can keep the momentum going in next year. It's tough to do it again.
We'll see him there again in 40 years. 32 years. But Lions did what they've done their entire history, and that is choke violently up 17 at half. Dan Campbell makes two stupid decisions, not kicking field goals. And, that's what got him there. That sort of aggressiveness got him
It
there.
did.
So you kind of have to stay true to yourself. Revisionist history would tell you that, you should probably kick the field goal. But you can't live with regret. And I'm sure Dan Campbell is feeling it right now, but I think he'd do it all over again if he could, which is admirable in my opinion. But you could just feel it shift. Niners cut it to 7, and Lions immediately fumble. And you thought, there's no way Lions are going to win this game. And sure enough, the Niners got it done.
Yeah, I think the Niners defense got to play better, though. They
sure.
struggled in the playoffs. They struggled late in the year against Baltimore.
They've gotten gashed on the ground the past 2 weeks.
So they got to play better. Maybe the week off this next week, the week of rest, will do them good.
Sure.
Because I think they're the better overall team. I think they're better than the Chiefs. I think they'll be favored out in Vegas.
They are favored. The opening line anyway was 3, I think.
But like you said, when you got Patrick Mahomes behind center, it's going to be hard to pick against the Chiefs. And I do want to point out, I had the Niners as my Super Bowl champ in my season predictions. It's just, unfortunately, my AFC champ didn't even make the playoffs, Jacksonville Jaguars. So.
Neither did my Cincinnati Bengals. Well, the Bengals had a legitimate reason where the Jags' reason was they have an overrated quarterback.
Did you pick the Niners as the NFC champ?
I either did or I see if I still have it here. Here we go.
Or did you pick the Eagles?
I might have had I had Cincinnati over Philadelphia.
Okay.
I had Cincinnati over Kansas City in the conference championship, San Francisco over, or Philadelphia over San Francisco.
Okay. All right.
The conference championship game. So.
Right.
But it's I don't trust Brock Purdy. I know he had a great year. He is a product of the team around him, which that's not his fault. I mean, you look at Tom Brady in his early years, he wasn't that good, and he was the product of the team around him, and he won Super Bowls. So I think Niners can absolutely get it done. Have to play better defensively, as you said, but my money will always be on Patrick Mahomes, regardless of which quarterback he's going up against.
And I was thinking at halftime of that game, the Detroit-San Francisco game, I'm thinking, man, if this game keeps going this direction, a lot of people are going to be calling out Brock Purdy. And I was even thinking Kyle Shanahan's going to start getting some heat. Yeah. Even though he's a good coach, that's the NFL anymore. I mean, look at Sirianni for the Eagles. Got him to the Super Bowl last year, got him to the playoffs every year, including this year. He was darn near canned.
He was.
And now with his new coordinators and Vic Fangio, previously of Miami as the new defensive coordinator, and then the offensive coordinator being Kellen Moore, who was with the Chargers. Really no excuse for Philadelphia next year. So
yeah, it's definitely make or break for him. But yeah, it's a NFL stands for not for long. So the fact that Sirianni was even on the hot seat is crazy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But he did lose both of his coordinators from that team too. It's a head coaching job. So
that can kill you.
Yep, absolutely. So now he's got a Vic Fangio. Hopefully the Eagles tampered a little bit and they'll give the Dolphins a compensatory pick.
It would be hard to believe that they didn't.
Yeah, which Vic's from Pennsylvania. He wanted to go back home, and I think whatever. I don't think the players liked him that much in Miami anyway, from the sounds of it. But
I don't think he's that well liked a lot of places, to be honest.
But big year for Nick Sirianni next year for sure.
That Mooney on Facebook, 152 rushing yards first half versus 35 in second half. Lions gave it away. I think it was Keyshawn Johnson who made a great point. Campbell got there by going for it, but it's fourth downs in the second half. He made decisions like a player, not a coach. Coach takes the points.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take the points.
Yeah. Can't be greedy. You got to know in the situation you're in and just take the points.
Especially they did it. I think they're up 24-10. They could have made that a 17-point ball game again.
Yep. You do that.
That would have been huge.
Make it three score game.
Yeah.
But
in the second half.
I know what he's trying to do. Make it a 3-score game by 21 points. But sometimes the analytics aren't always right. You got to. Well, he probably did go with his gut. He probably went against the analytics. I don't know.
It is funny whenever there's an ESPN game that shows the ESPN analytics, should they go for it, and it's always go. Yeah. Always go. It's rare kick.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But
But yeah, we'll talk plenty more Super Bowl next week. I mean, we got the week off this week. It's the skills challenge and the flag football program and Pro Bowl and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's my least favorite sports weekend of the year.
At least there's some good
Pro
college
Bowl weekend.
basketball
Can't
on,
stand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, it's
Usually
pretty bad. Pretty bad. But NFL coaching carousel's been hot and heavy. We only have 2 openings left. Washington Commanders and the Seattle Seahawks. And both those teams have had quite a few guys come in and interview. The biggest splash hire this past week was Jim Harbaugh coming back into the NFL, landing at a spot he played quarterback for a little while, but it was when they were in San Diego. But he returns to the Chargers as the head coach of the LA Chargers, making that AFC West for my liking even tougher.
Yeah, he had a pretty good quote. I like Michigan, but I love the Lombardi trophy or something like that.
That's the last thing he's got to do. I mean, to cement himself as, I mean, he is one of the greatest football coaches probably of all time, just by what he's done at both levels. But this is the one thing that's escaped him so far.
Yeah, and seems like a really good fit there. Sounds like he's bringing his defensive coordinator from Michigan with him to be defensive coordinator for the Chargers, which Michigan ran a pro-style defense, and there's a reason why NFL teams are trying to poach from his staff constantly the past couple of years. Obviously, offensive coordinator hire is going to be huge, especially with Justin Herbert there. Chargers got to stay healthy. Every single year.
They never, ever do.
They get killed with injuries. And obviously one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. Harbaugh, great program builder too in college. I mean, he did it at San Diego, and then he did it at Stanford, who was terrible before he took over, turned them into a powerhouse in there in the time he was there. Then goes to San Francisco, who was pretty bad before he took over, and turned them into obviously a Super Bowl loser, but then winning the title at Michigan. So the dude knows what he's doing. It's in his lineage. I didn't realize his dad, Jack, was a head coach for years at Western Kentucky, back into the early 2000s, and then obviously his brother. But it'll be interesting. Obviously, it hurts for you because you have to play him twice a year now instead of maybe just one time a year, every once in a while in college. But
right. Broncos are in a bad spot. I mean, they already have to play against the Chiefs twice a year, Raiders twice a year, who've had their number 7 straight, and now the Chargers, who usually they can split with the Chargers for whatever reason. It's really weird. But the Chargers have always had talent. Like you said, it's just a matter if they can stay healthy or not. Yeah. And you got to think free agents will want to go there now. So, whereas in the past, even though it's a great warm weather city, one of the bigger markets in the NFL, free agents haven't really want to go there for some reason. So.
Yeah, it's never been a huge free agent destination, which is weird in my opinion.
Yeah.
I will say where the LA stadium is not a very nice area.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Great stadium, I've heard. But
it's a great stadium, but it's in Inglewood next to the Forum, and I kind of stumbled upon it one time when I was out in LA, and it's just like it's not the nicest of areas. I'm sure it's built up a lot over the past 5 years since I've been there, but
Other head coaching vacancies have been filled. The Panthers got their guy, Dave Canales, I believe is how you pronounce his name, Canales, offense coordinator from the Buccaneers. That was probably the least attractive job out of all these.
Sure.
I don't know who would want to put up with that owner, but hey, if you're a coordinator and looking for a break, you got to start somewhere.
He did a great job with Baker this year.
That's true. Very true.
Maybe he'll have the same level of success with Bryce Young out there.
It's true. And then the Falcons did not go the Bill Belichick route, as a lot thought they might. They went with Raheem Morris, who was a head coach in the past for Tampa Bay, and he's been the DC out for the Rams for the past couple of years.
Yeah. I'm surprised they went with a defensive guy with how many weapons they have on offense, but that doesn't really matter these days. As long as you hire a good offensive coordinator, should be okay. But surprise Belichick is likely going to sit out a year, and we'll see if he gets a head coaching job next year. Wouldn't surprise him if he's just done. And that might not be his choice, but I don't know if he'll get that opportunity. Maybe Dallas opens up next year and Jerry makes a call, but sounds like Bill might have a TV offer out there, which would be interesting because he's not the most
he's boring.
He's not the he's not the brightest personality, I should say. He is very bright, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's not the big
Yes,
personality.
Saban's got more charisma and personality than he does.
For sure. I think Saban would be dynamite on TV. He's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I hope they get him on game day. That's kind of what
That'd
I'm
be
hoping
great.
for
Yeah.
there. Other vacancies have been filled. The Titans. This actually happened last Monday, but we didn't hit on it. They hired Brian Callahan, former office coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. It's Titans are a franchise that need a boost of something. I don't know what it is.
It's one of those things. You have a young quarterback and Will Levis, and you saw his work with Joe Burrow, and maybe they'll strike gold with Levis.
Yeah. Raiders retain Antonio Pierce. I think we did hit on that in the past, which was the right move, I think. I was hoping they would make the wrong move just to laugh at them again. Then Patriots hired within Gerard Mayo, which I didn't put two and two together when I made my bold prediction about Mike Vrabel, but makes sense with Mayo there. So, yeah, I mean, looking around the league, like we said, got Seattle, got Washington, but also there's a lot of coordinator openings. You got Tampa Bay offense coordinator, Miami defensive coordinator, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, Saints offensive coordinator, Giants defense coordinator, Commanders defense coordinator, Steelers offense coordinator, and Raiders offense coordinator. So,
who do you think ends up in Washington and Seattle?
I still think Seattle's Dan Quinn.
I agree.
I just think it makes too much sense, even though I know he's having another interview with Washington this week. It has been reported if he doesn't land either opening, he's got to go back to Dallas yet again as a defense coordinator. I just think there's a lot of connection there with Seattle. He was their former DC. I just think that makes too much sense. Washington, I'm not sure. Eric Bieniemy, offense coordinator, they interviewed him, but not as much traction there as usual. I don't even know if they've interviewed him, but I think Johnson from the Eagles or from the Lions.
Somebody's got to hire him. I mean, his offense is fun.
Yeah,
here in Detroit.
Yeah, and Washington needs something fun.
Yes,
and they're probably gonna get quarterback at number 2 overall. So
I should get a quarterback at number 2 overall. But yeah, new ownership. So maybe things will start turning around there in Washington. They desperately need a new stadium. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that used to be the NFL's biggest stadium, but those days are long gone.
Yeah, just because it's big doesn't mean it's nice.
That's true.
It's kind of the Oakland A Coliseum of the NFL, if you will.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
not good. But NFL never slows down with news. There's always something going on.
I got some pick six here for you. It kind of ties in with the NFL a little bit. Starting with Jim Harbaugh.
I'm not a fan of him personally, but he's one of the best coaches of all time. Like you said, I think he did everything he could at Michigan. I mean, won national title, went back there, former player who was very well liked, was a great player there, went back, gets him to college football playoff multiple times, finally gets him national championship this year, wins it. Now he's going back to the NFL to one of his former teams in the Chargers and see if he can do what his brother's done and win Lombardi. So I hate that he's back in the division, but I think he made the right move for himself.
Yeah. He even at Michigan, he always seemed like an NFL guy anyway.
Yes, he did.
And now he's back. So,
9 years at Michigan. It was a while.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, remember the 2020 season, they went under 500.
He was hot.
Yeah, calling for his head. I think they only lost 2 games the final 3 years or something like that. 3 games final.
Got Connor Stallions on the payroll, and look what happened.
Yeah, things take off. How about his replacement, Sharon Moore?
I wasn't shocked at all. Players love him. He did a good job and went 3-0, including beating Ohio State when Harbaugh was suspended. I mean, won at Happy Valley, beat Ohio State. I think the other game was Maryland, maybe. Don't quote me on that.
It was.
I think, So yeah, I think nowadays with the transfer portal, best hire they could have done to retain the most talent that they could.
Yeah, kind of like Ryan Day a little bit. Born on third base is what they say.
Oh yeah, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, hopefully. I guess it's gone pretty well for Ryan Day, depending on who you ask. For us, I was like, man, it's gone pretty dang good for Ryan Day. But Ohio State fans, they want to.
Oh, that's amazing.
I want to bury him. But,
I wish I was in their shoes.
Yeah.
I I do kind of wish they would have went outside the program just to see what kind of
See
names
what
they
they
could have
got.
brought and
Yeah.
let the dominoes fall again just to
Yeah.
watch. It would have been fun, but that's all
Yeah.
right.
What was I gonna say? Oh, speaking of, I mean, I'm gonna go back to the Chiefs here real quick,
Mhm.
but I was thinking you kind of said, man, I wonder what it'd feel like to have be mad at a head coach that's always going 11-1 like Ryan Day is. I want my NFL team to be as nonchalant as winning the AFC Championship as the Chiefs were yesterday.
Yeah.
They couldn't care less. I mean, they've been now 4 of the last 5 Super
Been
Bowls.
here, done that. Let's go win another
Yeah.
ring. Yeah.
Speaking of the Chiefs, Andrew Reid.
Andrew Reid, a likable guy. I mean, he's coach. He's one of my least favorite team. Depending on the day, I hate him worse than Raiders. It depends on the day, but he's a likable guy. He's in commercials, great personality, great head coach. It's been good everywhere he's went. He's gonna go down as one of the best to ever do it for sure.
Yeah, loves his cheeseburgers and Hawaiian shirts.
And give him those nuggies.
Switching gears here to the NBA, Luka Doncic.
Bucket getter. My goodness. Friday night, 73 points.
73 points. Did you see the defense the Hawks were playing?
Not good.
It's really tough to score 73, so I'm going to give him that. But there were some where it was just like, man, that looked pathetic.
Yeah.
Pathetic effort by the Atlanta Hawks.
But, man, the NBA right now, it's crazy, the scoring going on. And I was talking to somebody the other day. They're a lot bigger NBA fan than I am. And they said, you kind of see this happen before the All-Star break.
Sure.
Every couple of years there's a stretch where guys are just scoring like crazy. Don't know why. Don't know if it's a different strategy in officiating or what. But you had him going nuts. You had Booker going nuts in a loss against the Pacers. But yeah, Luka, man, fun to watch.
Yeah.
Top 5 player in the league, my opinion.
Yeah. It was forever. We never saw 70-point games, and now it's just like we've had 4 this year or something stupid like that, or even 60-point games. Speaking of Joel Embiid,
great player. It's gonna be interesting to see how this MVP race plays out because he was number 1 in odds going into the weekend. Then he did not play in Denver, and then
he has not played since 2019.
He has not, and the fans let him have it. Ball Arena
should.
They chanted, "Where's Joel at?" to start the game. Then he came out like at halftime, and they were booing him, and he was doing this to the crowd. Because he won the MVP last year when a lot of people thought Jokic should have won a 3rd straight. Well, Embiid has sit out the last 2 games now. He's now 4th in the odds. He's went from 1st to 4th after sitting out 2 games. So.
You have to play at least 60 games in order to
65,
qualify. Is it 65?
65, yeah. So.
I saw a stat. Embiid likes to take his veteran rest days when they're on the road against a good team. He's played 33 games this year.
Yep.
Only 3 of them have been on the road against teams above 500. It's embarrassing.
In that game, he got 60 points the other night. They were up by 20. They put him back in to get another hoop to get 60 and pulled him right back out.
Yeah.
So they're trying to pack this. Philadelphia's one of those franchises, in my opinion, they can't get it done. Even with great talent. So they're trying to pad their stats. They're trying to get them individual awards so they get some notoriety.
Yeah. I cannot stay in the NBA. I am going to an NBA game on Saturday, though. I'm going to the Bulls-Kings game on Saturday.
That'll be fun.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Io at least.
Yeah.
But
there was a rumor, I don't think it's going to happen now, but there was a rumor that the Bulls could move a few pieces to Detroit. One of the pieces they could get back is Jaden Ivey, which I really hope he gets out of Detroit.
Yeah. I honestly, Zach Levine, whatever his name is, deserves to play in Detroit. He's the most overrated star.
Yes. Yes.
Ever. Yes. And that'll wrap up our NBA talk for the year. Last one here.
Till they bring them back, Josh. Till they bring the Sonics back.
Vince McMahon.
Wow. I can't say what I want to say and keep us on for FCC regulations. One of the worst human beings to be walking on this planet Earth right now. He is power hungry, an awful human being, treats people terribly, especially women. And he needs to be put away for a while.
Yeah. For those who don't know, just Google Vince McMahon.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not going to say.
It's, it came out 2 years ago, the lawsuit but did not know the details till last week. And I'm one of those people, I can stomach a lot of things, reading, watching. I started reading the 67-page lawsuit and I could not finish it.
Yeah.
It was that graphic.
It was pretty bad.
He is an awful human being.
And for the first time ever, I believe, a McMahon will not be working in WWE. Is that true?
Correct. Yes. His daughter got out a few years ago. His son hasn't had much to do with it. He'll wrestle occasionally, but he tore his quad last year at WrestleMania. It was actually, I don't mean to laugh at somebody's injury, but it's kind of comical when it happened. Snoop Dogg had to come in on the fly and improvise, and it was a great moment, actually. But yes, his son-in-law is kind of in charge now of things. But he has no ownership of it. He is off the TKO board. TKO is the parent company of WWE and UFC. So he has no power whatsoever now. They got him off the board. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's on the board now as of last week. Which, man, I was thinking today, I'm like, Taylor Swift is the most probably powerful celebrity in the world, especially female. The Rock might be the male version.
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't have that cult following, but like the dude's everywhere. He's the Grand Marshal in the Daytona 500 next weekend. He's just everywhere.
How soon before he's named CEO?
You give a couple years. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, it feels like that's the way it's trending.
He's got a good business mind. He's even contemplated maybe running for president. I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
We don't need any more celebrities that don't have political experience in office or running for office, in my opinion. And I like The Rock. I'm a big Rock guy, but I don't want to see him as president. So,
no.
Yep. Good list there, J-Man. I like it. And that is the Pick 6 list, which is brought to you by, like it is every week, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or a sales meeting, Proforma Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815. What do you want to learn about some sporting events that have happened on this day on January 29th?
Always.
And welcome to the 32 Club. I know I'm not there yet, J-Man, but this is your first pod as a 32-year-old.
Yes.
All right, so let's see what has happened on this day. The first Winter Olympics were going on. Oh, that's cool. Here's a good one. On this day in 1936, the first players ever elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame happened.
36?
Yeah, you want to name some of them? It was a 5-man class.
George Sisler.
No.
I don't know.
Ty Cobb.
That's pretty good.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, yeah.
Honest Wagner. Christy Mathewson. And Walter Johnson.
Yeah, I should have gotten at least one of those guys correct.
That's all right. A lot
I honestly probably should have gotten all 5 of them correct.
A lot of Australian Open. I don't know why I find this interesting, but on this day in 1955, John Williams Cox bought Yankee Stadium, sold the grounds to the Knights of Columbus, later leave structure to Rice University in 1962. No idea why I found that interesting. On this day, 1963, Jim Thorpe, Red Grange, and George Halas were all elected to the Football Hall of Fame.
Pretty good class.
On this day, in 1964, the most lopsided high school basketball score occurred in the state of Louisiana. I don't know who played, it doesn't say, but the score was 211-29.
That's bad.
Wow. And assuming those 8-minute quarters, wow. On this day, 1964, NBC purchased the AFL for a 5-year deal from 1965 to 69. The TV rights for those, $36 million.
There was no 3-point line back then either.
There was not. On this day in 1974, the NFL draft was held.
Really?
Who was taken number 1 by the Dallas Cowboys?
74 Dallas Cowboys. Tony Dorsett.
Ed Jones from Tennessee State.
Is that too tall, Ed Jones?
Sounds right. We'll go with it. If not,
I don't think I'm right. That's Deacon Jones.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
No.
Big E, help us out, please.
I don't think he's watching right now.
Oh,
he said he's gonna have to watch later. I got some Pro Bowl stuff. Here's an interesting one. On this day in 1984, the 34th NBA All-Star Game was played in Denver. The East beat the West 154 to 145 in overtime. Who was the MVP?
84?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with Larry Legend.
Great guess. One of his rivals, Isaiah Thomas.
Oh.
And it was the first time they had an All-Star Saturday. Who was the first slam dunk winner that year?
84?
Yes, sir.
Dominique Wilkins?
Larry Nance.
Ah.
On this day, 1984, the Pro Bowl was played in Honolulu, Hawaii. The NFC beat the AFC 45-3. Who was the MVP?
Field goals and Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
NFC 1984, not playing in the Super Bowl, unless it was after the year then.
Yeah, it was after the year.
84. Jerry Rice.
Joe Theismann.
Ah, he had his leg intact then.
Yes, he did. My dad did respond, so he must be watching. It's Too Tall Jones.
Nice.
There you
All
go.
right.
Let's see. Who was the MVP in the 1989 Pro Bowl that saw the NFC beat the NFC beat the AFC 34-3?
89.
Another quarterback. I'll even give that to you. Another quarterback.
Who are the quarterbacks in the NFC in 89? Besides Joe Montana. Was Montana even in San Francisco in 89, or was he in Kansas City then? Give me Montana.
Randall Cunningham.
No.
No, he says no. Who won the Super Bowl on this day in 1995?
95? I was going to say that's probably the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
You are correct. The last time they won it, the 49ers beat the San Diego Chargers 49-26. MVP was Steve Young.
Was that the get the monkey off my back?
Get the monkey off my back. On this day in 2000, Karl Malone of the Utah Jazz became the third player in NBA history to score 30,000 career points. The other two were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain.
Talk about a bad guy. Go Google Karl Malone and see what he did in the 80s.
Yeah, and I used to like Karl Malone as a kid. On this day in 2002, the San Diego Chargers hired Marty Schottenheimer as their 13th head coach. They would, a few years later, fire him after losing 2 games in a season.
I remember that.
Let's see here. A lot of tennis. A lot of Australian Open. Here's a good one. On this day in 2012, the AFC beat the NFC in the Pro Bowl 59-41. Who was the MVP of that game?
2012?
Yes, sir.
Is that Brandon Marshall?
It was, of the Miami Dolphins.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I thought you might.
I think he caught 3 touchdowns, maybe.
I thought you might. Let's do one more Pro Bowl. On this day in 2017, the AFC beat the NFC 20-13.
That's boring.
There was 2 MVPs, one on offense, one on defense, both on the AFC side.
2017, what position was the offensive player?
Tight end.
2000, Travis Kelce.
Mr. Taylor Swift himself, yes. And
Mr.
defense was a linebacker.
Mr. and Mrs. Travis Swift.
Sounds like a NASCAR name. Travis Swift.
Linebacker. Shaq Leonard.
Good guess. Lorenzo Alexander of the Bills.
Never heard of him.
And on this day in 2018, the then Cleveland Indians announced they were going to remove Chief Wahoo logo from the uniforms in 2019.
Which they did.
And
now they are the Guardians.
Took you a little while.
I got there.
You about said Commanders, didn't you?
I almost did say Commanders. Yes.
And that's going to do it for the On This Day segment, which It's brought to you by, like it is every week, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs to fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting them at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your first sign order. So go check out some of the recent designs. Get your sign order in. You won't be disappointed. All right, J-Man. We are almost in February.
That's crazy.
College hoops, man. It's heating up. Big Ten, we've been having some good games. Your Illini were arguably in maybe the most exciting Big Ten contest. Well, not for you, but exciting from an outsider.
I mean, that was a great game.
Yeah.
I'll say that was a great game.
Last 4 minutes of regulation, back and forth, back and forth. You don't want to be a top 10 team going into a Welsh Ryan Arena.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be a top 10 team going in anywhere this year.
That's true.
Where
That's true.
the past 5 years, by far, this is the lowest win percentage of top 10 teams on the road. It is about 40%, 40% win percentage there. Where the lowest over the past 5 years, I think, was 59, 596 or something like that. But yeah, Welsh Ryan, they've gotten the top 10 teams. They've beaten Purdue twice over the past few years. They beat Indiana last year.
Yep.
Was Indiana a top 10 team last year?
No.
I don't think so. Who am I thinking of?
But they're ranked, I think.
I think they were ranked 14th.
Okay.
Or something like that. Anyway,
I don't think they were top 10.
I don't think they got there either. But then Illinois comes in there and could not stop Boo Boo. He can't not wait till he graduates.
I know how that feels. Well, the dude's played for 1,000 years. Yeah. I mean, that's why I commented on something because he passed something in Northwestern scoring history. I'm like, it helps when he play 1,000 years. Yeah. Which that's going to be interesting how colleges, even in football and basketball going forward, look on some of these records.
Yeah,
because some guys are playing 6 or 7 years. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Come on. Yeah. 9 years if they're Miami. If your Canes has a guy playing his 9th year college football this year. Dude needs to get a job. He's 27 years old.
I almost replied with a link to Indeed on his Twitter, but I didn't. I probably shouldn't. But yeah, congrats to Northwestern and especially Boo Buie, who raised his record against Illinois to 2-10 in his career. So congrats to him and the Chris Collins there. But
no hostility there. I can't feel any through the screen.
No, it was great atmosphere. I'm telling you, man. I went to the Illinois Northwestern game in Welsh Ryan 2 years ago. That is a fun place to watch a game. Didn't go there pre-renovations, but I can't imagine pre-renovations. It was very nice. Now it's a very nice, kind of feels like a big high school gym. Great parking for cheap right next to the stadium. Great atmosphere. You know there's going to be a ton of opposing fans there too. Yep. So that's what made the atmosphere even better. And I'm sure Purdue, it's the same way. They get a lot of fans there. But good spot to watch a game, and it'll be interesting. I think Northwestern's clearly a top 5 team in the Big Ten this year.
I agree with that.
And they should be an NCAA tournament team. Very surprised they aren't ranked, honestly. Somehow they didn't get in. I think that Chicago State loss is kind of looming over their head a little bit, as it should. I mean, that thing lingers. But yeah, really good game. Illinois just couldn't get stops, which has been kind of an issue here the past month or so. They had a top 10 defensive efficiency in the non-conference, but now they're in like the 50s. It's not been very
what I noticed the other night, I of course don't watch near as much Illinois basketball as you do. That might have been actually the most I've watched of them this year. The other night, they just couldn't finish around the rim. They were crashing the boards hard. They did a great job on the glass, but they just couldn't put the bunnies in the hole. Yeah,
they missed 24 shots at the rim.
That'll do it.
And that reared its ugly head against Indiana too.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Now, luckily, they are one of the best rebounding teams in the country, or offensive rebounding teams in the country, which helps. But you got to finish those bunnies there. I was significantly more concerned about their defense because I didn't think their defense played all that good against Indiana either. But Indiana went 0 for 9 from 3.
That helps.
Which helped. But they switched too much in the second half. For whatever reason, Underwood didn't make the adjustment, which ticked me off. They would do this. They would switch every single time, and they ended up with Luke Goody on Boo Buie for a majority of the final 5 or 6 minutes of the second half. Then they finally got out of that. In the first possession of overtime, Justin Harmon goes under a screen, and Bowie drops a 3 in his eye. So that was frustrating, but
Yeah.
it's not really that. It's not a bad loss by any stretch. of the
Right.
imagination.
No.
It would have been nice to get it done, but Northwestern had to play as well as they possibly could have to get it done in overtime. They did, but
They've done it twice in front of raucous crowds, and those are the only 2 times their crowd has showed up all year.
Yeah.
Because right after they beat Purdue, they played Chicago State in front of like 7 people and lost.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Chris Collins likes getting that switch to get Boo Booey against the Homestead boys, because the same thing kept happening to Purdue, and he kept getting against Fletcher Lawyer, and it didn't end well for Purdue. So
Yeah.
hopefully Purdue's ready for that Wednesday night in what should be a raucous Mackey Arena, because I think Purdue crowd's out for blood on this one. We're tired of losing to Northwestern the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no huge shakeups in the Big Ten. Minnesota almost shook it up. They probably should have beat Wisconsin. They couldn't hit their free throws late. That would have been a good win for the Gophers, but they couldn't get it done. Michigan is just awful.
They're the worst team in the Big Ten by a wide margin.
It's time for Juwan to go there. It's weird. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened interesting. Oh, the surprise for me was I wasn't surprised they lost, but it was in the fashion they lost. Nebraska at Maryland.
Yeah.
And they start off the game up 12-2, and then
you look at Nebraska home and road splits. They're winning their home games. I mean, they're playing great at home. Obviously, have wins against Purdue, have wins against. I think they beat Michigan State at home, or
yes,
they lose.
They smacked
them. Beat Indiana, killed Indiana. Beat Ohio State, but then they go on the road. I mean, killed against Iowa, killed against Maryland.
Lose at Rutgers.
Yeah, lost to Rutgers. So, yeah, they got to win some road games if they want to be serious about potentially making the NCAA tournament.
Right now, I probably have them in, but I think right now we'd only have 5 Big Ten teams in.
No, Nebraska would be in that 5?
I think so. I think
over
them or Ohio State.
Over Michigan State?
I personally wouldn't have Michigan State. What have they done besides beat Baylor?
They haven't. I mean, the Baylor win's pretty good, but Baylor did just lose a home game to TCU.
They haven't done nothing. But in really the Big Ten being bad, a lot of teams aren't going to have opportunities at quad 1 wins, at least on the road. At home,
even on the road, you're not going to have that many opportunities anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I look at Indiana, who's on a 3-game skid, and they played better against Illinois, but it's like they've got to start winning games and winning some good opportunities.
Their net ranking was 98 coming in, which would have been a quad. It was a quad 3 game in Champaign. And so now that's a quad 2 win at Indiana. When's the last time winning in Indiana only gets you a quad 2 W?
Early Tom Crean days. If quads were even a thing then, I don't know if they were.
So it's just one of those things, again, with the Big Ten being down, you're going to have to win road games in order to get quad 1 wins. I mean, you look at Illinois' resume, their best win, Michigan State at home or Florida Atlantic neutral.
Yeah.
Those are their only 2 quad 1 wins. And who knows if that Michigan State quad 1's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
And I don't think Florida Atlantic is very good. So,
Purdue found themselves in a rock fight yesterday at Rutgers.
Always.
I hate that. They lost their last 3 trips there going into yesterday, and it's one of those games they did not play well. Turned the ball over 15 times, didn't shoot well in the second half, and Rutgers actually kind of did for once, which was very surprising because they can't do anything offensively. They are awful. But Purdue escaped, 68-60 win. It's one of those, I didn't care what the final score was. I just wanted to win and get out. And that's what they did.
You got to win those kind of games in the NCAA tournament, so I might as well get them out of the way and learn how to do it. So,
Zach Edey became the 6th Purdue player in program history to score 2,000 career points. He played well. Braden Smith played pretty well yesterday. Lance Jones didn't shoot it well, but the guy had 10 rebounds. I mean, that's the way to contribute in a different form. Mason Gillis hit some big first half shots. Just did enough to eke it out. I mean, Rutgers got down to 2, got the crowd into it, but Purdue made the plays when they needed to make the plays. And now they got 2 big ones this week. Northwestern at home Wednesday night at 6:30, and then a really big one Sunday up in Madison on CBS at 1:00. So
biggest Big Ten game to date in the league.
Yes,
top 2 teams in the standings.
And I was talking with some Purdue fans yesterday, and we were saying, you can't rely on people to help you win a conference championship. You get Wisconsin twice. If you want to win, you gotta put matters in your own hands and go do it. So.
Yeah, Wisconsin has not played a ranked team since December 14th. 5 of their 8 games this month have been at home. So,
yep.
I'm not sure if I'm buying them quite yet as a top 6 team, or are they ranked 6th today?
Yes.
They are. Not buying that whatsoever.
Yeah. I think Illinois is a better team than Wisconsin.
I think so too, but they also
more talented.
They definitely have a higher ceiling than Wisconsin, but that floor about hit yesterday or Saturday.
So, yeah, that would have been bad. To drop both of them last week would have been bad.
Yeah, but they found a way to get it done. That's all that matters. And I'm telling you, Illinois plays better on the road. It's the weirdest thing. I feel better going on the road. That's
really weird.
They shoot better on the road for sure. They can't shoot at home. I don't get it.
Replace the rims.
No,
call Whitman. AD. Replace the rims.
Replace the nets. Replace the background. Whatever.
Build a new arena.
Build a new arena. Yeah.
But how about around college basketball outside of the Big Ten before we pick some Big Ten games for the week? Anything catch your eye over the week?
Oh man, UConn yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be a good game.
They beat Xavier by 40 points. Xavier's not good, but man, UConn's looking national title winner again.
Yeah.
They're
not going to sneak up on anybody though this year.
They are. Last year. But man, I think they're better than last year, and they lost Sonogo and a few other guys, and I think they're better.
But yeah, UConn. I see a lot of people starting to pick them to repeat. So yeah, we'll see.
North Carolina is really good, and it seems like not many people are talking about them either. I think they're ranked 3rd. They up to 3rd.
Sounds right.
Kansas lost again on the road. They're not as good.
They whined about it.
They have shocker. They whined about it. Every team Hunter Dickinson's on whines about something.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor
lost.
Arizona's struggling. There's something wrong with them. They should have lost to UCLA at home last weekend. That would have been maybe the worst loss a top 25 team has had all year, but they found a way to get it done. But Oregon State's bad. Or was it? Yeah, Oregon State.
Oregon State. But Arizona's one of those teams. They'll get in the tournament. I mean, they could be a 3 seed or 4 seed, and watch out. So they have the talent to run the table.
One team we don't hear about anymore is Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And they were losing to a 10 game under 500 Pacific team at halftime. They ended up getting it done, but Lenardi had him as his first team out.
I know.
So this might be the year that they don't get in.
You got to think if the NIL's got to hurt a
for sure.
Like Gonzaga.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any footage of Baylor's new arena since they've been playing in?
No.
The camera angle is so high up. It's an unwatchable. Unwatchable. So they're gonna have to figure that out. They're gonna have to put the camera somewhere else because it is miserable watch. I don't even.
Funny how some arenas are more. I can't think of the term, but so I'm gonna say watchable. Are more watchable than others.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some I just hate watching games at, whether it's the brightness of the floor or the camera angles.
Yeah.
Especially. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, it's terrible. I watched like 30 seconds. Like I can't do it because the camera is so high up. It's almost at like it almost feels like a 90-degree angle. You're just looking down on it.
Use your geometry skills there, Josh. Come on, I took geometry with you.
Yeah, you know how well that went.
Saw to build a bridge out of balsa wood.
It collapsed when I looked at it. Didn't even put any weight on
it. Yeah, it's amazing that we're almost in February and March Madness will be here before we know it.
You want to pick some games here?
Mm-hmm.
On the Peacock tomorrow night, we have number 14 Illinois traveling to Ohio State, coming off a shellacking in Northwestern.
Yeah, Purdue's been on that darn thing a million times this year, and they're on one more at Illinois in March. So glad to get a break, but give me the Illini.
Yeah, I think Illinois gets done. Ohio State's not very good. I do hate playing teams coming off a embarrassing loss.
Yeah.
So I think Ohio State keeps it close, but I just think Illinois' defense has struggled against traditional fives, and Ohio State doesn't really have one. And they've struggled against good point guards. And Ohio State doesn't really. They have a decent one, but I think Illinois gets it done. Iowa at Indiana.
I think Indiana gets this one done at home. If not, watch out. Their season might just fall off the cliff.
Indiana did not hit a three yet on Saturday in a game for the first time since 2010. You can't do that against Iowa and expect to win. Give me the Hawkeyes.
All right. Wow.
On the road. Michigan at Michigan State.
Michigan State pretty easily.
Large. Wednesday night, Northwestern at Purdue.
I think Purdue gets it done. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a pretty good game, but I like Purdue at home in this one. They're going to be locked in.
This is a top 5 game in Northwestern history coming in, I think. 6-3 on the road at Purdue. I think Purdue beats them by 17 plus.
I hope you're right.
One of the rare times I root for Purdue is when they play Northwestern.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll take what I can get.
Penn State at Rutgers.
That's got to be an awful watch. I'll take Rutgers at home.
Give me Rutgers at home as well. Just Penn State, they were up, double digits against Minnesota at home on Saturday at halftime, and Minnesota put up 52 points in the second half and blew them out. So a big week for Wisconsin. They travel to Nebraska on Thursday night.
I want to take Nebraska because place could be rocking. They play good at home, but I think Wisconsin finds a way to pull it out by 3.
If I'm you, I'm rooting for Wisconsin.
Yeah, you don't want them coming in mad.
Yeah. Give me Nebraska though. They play well at home.
They do.
So big week.
Omanaga.
Yeah, big week for Nebraska too. They play Wisconsin at home, then at Illinois on Sunday. Friday night we have Ohio State at Iowa.
Bad week for the Bucks. Give me Iowa.
Give me Iowa. I think Iowa has a good week. Saturday we have Penn State at Indiana.
Good week for the Hoosiers. They go 2-0 at home.
Indiana,
almost a must 2-0 week for them.
Absolutely must 2-0 week for them. Give me the Hoosiers. Northwestern at Minnesota.
I'll take Northwestern on the road here.
Northwestern in a close one. Rutgers at Michigan.
I'll actually give Michigan a win. I don't know why.
I'm giving Michigan a win as well. Rutgers cannot score. Maryland at Michigan State.
Interesting one. It was close just a week or two ago, 2-point game. Give me Sparty at home.
Yeah, Maryland's playing a little better. Had a big road win at Iowa. Jameer Young took over. Give me Michigan State at home, though. Purdue at Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one, especially if both teams take care of business before Sunday's matchup. Wisconsin got good guards. Their weakness is interior defense. I think Purdue exploits that, takes advantage of that. Purdue wins a tight one. Knock on wood. Purdue plays pretty good in Kohl Center.
Yeah.
So
this will be the J-Man's Booker prediction of the week. Give me Purdue. I think
I hate when you do this.
Win fairly handily. J-Man's Booker prediction of the week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watching for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers, common, farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561. Nebraska at Illinois.
Good week for Illini, J-Man.
They get it done. I think they get it done at home too. Over the past 5 years, I mean, all I wanted was Illinois to be a consistent winner in the Big Ten. Over the past 5 years, through 20 games, 15-5, 15-5, 15-5, 14-6, and 15-5. That's as consistent as you can get.
Sure.
Give me the Illini in that one. Hit me with that birdie bogey. I'm about to get
all right. Birdie or bogey. Tom Brady's one of 2 quarterbacks in Super Bowl history to complete over 100 passes. He actually did it very largely with 277, I believe I said. Who is the other person to have done this?
There's two players I have in my head. Probably both of them wrong. Joe Montana.
Always a good guess when it comes to quarterback. That's a bogey, my friend.
Can I guess the other one? Jim Kelly was my other one, but they lost 4. So.
Wasn't Jim Kelly either.
Makes me feel better.
Peyton Manning with 103.
Wasn't even on my radar for some
Played
reason.
in 4 Super Bowls and the 43-day blowout. He passed a ton. I thought you might guess John Elway. He played in 5. So
Wasn't even thought of Elway. Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show. We'll be back at her next Monday.